All right, guys, here we're going to talk about Nightmare on Elm Street. 1984's Nightmare on Elm Street, Lee. You've definitely seen this, probably with me.
Probably. I was going to say, yeah, it's classic. It's a thing. It's cool to go back, though. I have a bunch of stuff to say of, like, I forgot how it all began.
This is the one I've seen the least, I think, of all of them. Because, like, I think the other ones are probably cheaper to play on network TV, so, like, they play constantly.
Interesting.
Like, I've seen it a bunch, but not recently, so it was a fun go back.
No, I can see that happening. Yeah, because you're just at the mercy of whatever's on television or whatever. Yeah. No, it was good. It's the one you remember. I think it holds up and is cool. I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely laugh out loud moments, which are what you like about 80s horror.
Oh, no.
But I enjoy the movie quite a lot.
You hate it. You're mocking it.
Well, I definitely did laugh.
Okay.
Aloud.
Oh, shit.
At mostly the end.
But
well,
the end is...
It's a fun movie.
The end is laughable.
Yeah.
No, I think it's always awesome to go back to a long series and watch the first one where they were like, it's over, we're done. And like you're like, wait. Because in your mind, it's like, no, it was always like this. But in the first one, sometimes they're like...
Well, they're finding who they are,
Ooga booga,
too.
yeah, they just do whatever, yeah.
Fred Krueger is not a wisecracker that Freddy is, as he is from movie 2 on.
He's still a Frederick here, I think.
Yes.
Yes, he has to move...
He's a thespian.
He hasn't let himself go and really explored his inner, demons.
And we will explore those demons over in spoilers. So if you've seen it or don't care, follow us over there. And if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, so here we are for the spoilers of Nightmare on Elm Street. Lee, let me hear them spoiler-filled thoughts.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, it's wacky. This movie is fun.
Yeah.
And, like, it ends in a way where they're all like, fuck it, who cares? Fuck you. And I'm like, I like that.
I have questions on this watch. Like,
I
was thinking about it more than, like, I think I have been thinking about it at times.
That's dangerous. Don't do that.
There's a lot of moments where I'm like, is it all a dream?
It was all a dream.
Because even like how we end and it kind of restarts and it's like, okay, like that's a dream.
Feeling better? Oh, I feel like $1 million. They say you've bottomed out when you can't remember the night before.
But there are a lot of things that happen while people are like awake. So like those things couldn't happen because he's like a dream person. He's not a person that comes at you in the real world. Like so him like popping through the ceiling and like looking at her where a crucifix was, or our like greaser guy being like strung up and hung. Like I'm like those are things that could only happen in the dream world.
No. No, this is the first one. So like the rules aren't as established, and it's meant to be like, the ghost of this evil man that wants revenge and stuff, and the fact that he gets you in your dreams is just like, he gets you in your dreams, but he gets around. He can do other stuff too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Two things for this one that like, I think I have always just made him a pedophile. He's just a child murderer. He's not a pedophile.
You're not just going to kill a kid. Well, you're going to have some fun while you're in there. Come on.
Something I read about this particular one, there was a string of like pedophile things happening like in the news, and they didn't want to be accused of like aping on
glorifying
that. Yeah,
and
so like,
juicing
okay, he's just a murderer of children.
A molester or a child killer?
No, originally there was a hint of pedophilia, but...
In the reboot, he's a rapist.
They're like really bad drawings. Maybe you can help me fix them?
And then we started to notice things.
Oh, good. I don't know how to follow
There was
that.
less rape happening then, so I guess good, yes.
No, I mean like I don't even know if that's on camera. Did they like dub the line over where it's like, and he killed all those kids?
I think it's like when the mom and the hat gets discovered or something.
Yeah,
like
it's a whole exchange.
He was a filthy child murderer who killed at least 20 kids in the neighborhood. Kids we all knew.
The other thing that I had zero memory of, I was like, I deleted that completely from my mind, is that the movie opens with him making the glove.
Oh, amazing.
I had no memory of that
and
whatsoever.
that's in a little box too.
Yeah.
I thought like I was watching one of the special features by accident. I was like, what the fuck is this? A Nightmare on Elm Street. There's a little box where he's like chink chink like in like Hephaestus's forge making his like weapon.
I feel like on network TV they might cut that part out for time or something. I feel like I've never seen
they cut it out because it's in a little box.
Maybe.
You can't show something in a little box, people would be smacking their TVs. It's broken, Martha. It's a little old box.
Yeah.
They wouldn't put this on. No.
And I've watched the DVD, but I have no memory of that. Probably because like I'm eating popcorn or you're bullshitting during the beginning part and like it starts. You're like, okay, sit down, shut up, here we go.
No, you skip over that, whatever. I like that.
I love it.
Because the whole time people were acting, I think it's because of Family Guy or Futurama, someone did a bit.
Stupid school bazaar. Oh, Mary, that's the stuff.
Hi, Daddy.
People were acting like that glove is like a normal thing that he'd had or something, and I'm
On
like,
The Simpsons, Ned has one to cut his.
Yeah,
his hedges.
Ma, these new finger razors make hedge trimming as much fun as sitting through church.
So fiddly-dee, I'm just cutting the shrubs. But like I think people, that's like reverse wormed its way into people's minds of like, why did he have that glove? And then you go back to the first movie and it's like, he fucking made it, because that's why.
Yeah.
Duh. And they're like, oh, well, you're just guessing. It's in there. It's in a little box.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck?
No, it's a great weapon because like it's scary. It's personal because it has to happen very close to you.
Well, no, I'm sorry, because when you said it's a great weapon and then started to name stuff, so I pictured like an infomercial where it was like it
slices, it dices.
Look what you get. You get 12 different dyes and shapes. You get angel hair, vermicelli, spaghetti. You get linguine, fettuccine, egg.
Scary, check. Personal, check. And I'm like, what is this list? Yeah. But
well, it's like animalistic. It's a claw. Like it's
scary.
Something you don't want to deal with.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Oh, you're afraid of a knife? How about fucking 4 of them, bitch?
How about multiple? And they go out of their way to say that it's razor sharp. There's also like a pickup line of dialogue later where one of the characters who has no way of knowing this says he had like knives on his hands, like a glove he made himself. It's some weird. I'm like, wait, what?
Actually, they were more like finger knives or something he'd made himself.
The fuck? How do you?
Well, I think that it has a look of that.
It stands to reason, but it's still a weird drop for me where I was shown him making it in the beginning.
Yeah, I guess. Yes. Well, again, that leads like into a dream, so maybe she dreamed that part.
Maybe that's another one of her dreams.
Yeah. I thought that the girl who dies first, the Tina character, it is much better than her actual lead.
Nah. Awesome.
When I see that the lead role could have gone to like Demi Moore and Courtney Cox and all the other people that were up for it, I'm like, I think they would have been better.
So when you said, I think the main girl, in my head, who's the Terry something? She was on the Superman show you like a lot. And I think
Terry
you like
Hatcher.
her. Do you like her?
I do.
She's your type. This chick's like that chick. She's your type. That's why you like her. Yes.
Well, I don't like her that way. I like her from being in a show I watched for many years.
You're on the record. We know you like her.
I also like Dean Cain.
So why are there stories full of tales of valiant knights off to fight big, giant, fire-breathing lizards?
Also your type. Big crush on Dean Cain. I've always said it.
No, they had great chemistry.
People are saying it, folks. I agree.
Right?
I forgot she existed because I too, not only do I not watch the first one a lot, I didn't watch any of them a lot. I've seen, I think, all of them eventually at some point. Maybe I've missed some. Who knows? But yeah, I like having it be someone else at first and going for so long of the dream journey and all that. I was like, this is awesome. Because I too am like, well, I know everything from movies 2 through 100, so I'm coming to this like, ooh, will they show us the things or whatever? And no, they won't, for the most part. But in the beginning, you're like, is this real? Is this a dream? And then it's like, ha! And you're like, oh, okay, good. It's a dream.
What are your thoughts about Johnny Depp in this?
Unrecognizable. I don't
He's a baby.
care.
It's his first movie.
And now that I know he's a bad person, I don't care at all.
Morality sucks.
He's been acquitted of bad people in this, no?
No. No. Absolutely not. No, he's unrecognizable in this to the point where I'm confused. Because, like, even when I was like, well, through process of elimination alone, that's Johnny Depp.
Your nutty's a fruitcake. I love you anyway.
Good.
He looks so different, and he's not even... So, this is... Okay. Freddy Krueger is not doing the voice in this.
Yeah.
He's just Robert Englund's voice.
You think you was gonna get away from me?
I know you too well now, Freddy.
You die.
And Johnny Depp is not doing a Johnny Depp voice in this.
Yeah.
He's just doing Kid.
Well, he hasn't found Tim Burton yet, so he hasn't had it.
Exactly. So it's such a weird trip to see these different people.
Oh, I wasn't listening to the tube, Ma. Just watching. Miss Nude America is gonna be on tonight.
I
doing
think
their
like
things.
a lot of the like of his character is just like, that's Johnny Depp. Oh, it's a novelty, him being young.
Exactly.
But I think it's kind of a flat character. It doesn't really have a lot going on.
There's nothing going on.
No.
And then, so I thought, oh yeah, this is when Johnny Depp is trapped inside of the waterbed or whatever.
Joey.
But that's a different movie.
Yeah, this one has the impossible geyser of blood that his mom sees and doesn't immediately write it off as like, it's a possession, we have demons. Like, what the fuck is that?
What could they think? Even being stuck in the bed is insane too, but yes. So like, you know, in that scene, Johnny Depp has like the weird half shirt on where I'm like, he's gonna look
that's iconic.
He's gonna look sexy in that waterbed, and then it's not that at all. Like, what movie am I thinking of? What the fuck? Yeah.
A lot of the classics, the Friday the 13th, the Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, I do that thing too, where I blend. I'm like, oh wait, no, that's not this
and
one.
She
that's,
turns into
that's
a
the seventh one.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Oh.
It's a big mess.
Hey, now, honey, you gotta cut your fingernails. You gotta stop that kind of dreaming. One or the other.
Robert Englund is not only not doing the voice, but I now suspect I think he's just doing an impression of Freddy Krueger in the other movies.
Then they tried burying me.
I think he was like, yeah, I'm just going to chew the scenery until they fire me, and they just never did. And then he was like, well, this is what they want, I have to keep doing it. And the character has evolved into this like, you know, comedic monstrosity that I frankly am not as into. I like the creative kills. And I like him like adding some flavor.
You can check in, but you can't check out.
But there's flavor here. He's cutting his fingers off and stuff. Like something's happening where I'm like, he's not just stalking menacingly. He's doing stuff to them. He's fucking with them.
I like the one-liner Freddy a lot more.
But the voice, the like, Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Like he's doing a voice. Yeah.
Well, like this movie single-handedly saved like with New Line.
New Line, yeah.
Yeah, like. And kept on doing that, like, you know, for quite a while.
Oh, exactly.
So, like, he could probably have done anything he wanted, and they weren't going to fire him because he is the face of a franchise. I would have said you can't even do a movie like this without him, and then they did, and it flopped horribly because fuck that movie.
Oh, the more recent remake? Yeah.
This won't hurt one little bit.
I didn't see it.
It's garbage.
Well, because, again,
It changed the whole backstory. He's a pedophile.
I'm not going to support that. No, it's because Robert Englund is what like this as a standalone film I think works, and, you know, and is fine. But the idea of a sequel is like ludicrous. So those sequels exist in some other world where we are enjoying seeing our friend Robert Englund reprise his role as the iconic superhero, horror hero, whatever, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it is now. This is not that though. This is this is like Nightmare on Elm Street 2 should say based on characters from Nightmare on Elm Street in a way.
Well,
right?
I think though, like they clearly had the idea open for sequels just with that ending. It almost reminds me of like Grease's ending where it's like so fucking crazy. It's like, oh, and they flew off into the sky.
Oh, so
like,
I've never seen Grease.
Oh.
At the end, Freddy Krueger shows up, kills them all.
Yeah.
It's whack.
How could there be room on your joint for 4 letters?
Hey, up yours with a twirling lawnmower.
I like the Ferris Buellery effect of the boombox, try to convince his mom that he could sleep over at this girl's house. Like, by the way, I'm like, what was that tape?
Huh? Yeah, noisy as usual. Glad we don't live here, huh?
And like, did the girls fuck with it and that's what made weird shit happen? Like, or was that just a tape he let play too long?
It's like a sound effects tape or like a Sounds of the City tape. And it like transitions from one sound to like a sound that's not good.
Listen, Ma, I gotta go. I think there's been an accident out front. Right.
That's goofy, but I like that because this was at a time, you know, it was like, hey, there's home technology. You're watching this right now on a home theater video.
Oh, do you have a Talkboy? I have a Talkboy.
Tiger's Talkboy tape recorder comes with audio cassette. Batteries not included.
People would put things into movies like that as if this was, and as a child, it's very misleading because you think that shit works in real life and it does not.
It works.
Not on my parents.
Goofiest part of the movie before we get to like where shit just goes off the rails goofy is him with like the weird fucking long arms.
For no reason, right? Yeah.
Like it's not scary.
Yeah.
Like maybe if it would have done a thing, like I think everyone's had the dream where you're running and someone's arms just like coming after you and they still like you know are growing and reaching. But this is the opposite of that. This is like, I'm waving flaily arm man.
I like that. I think it's okay. I don't hate it like you're saying. I understand
It's the worst of the effects for sure.
Yeah,
though.
I understand like the flaws in it and stuff. I liked it because of the way it escalates. I don't think it had to be that, but I like that it was something that wasn't interactive or necessarily threatening. But it was like, that's wrong. This isn't real. Something's wrong with that. I'm not seeing that. It could have been anything else though that wasn't like kind of funny, right? To see, which would have been better. But yes, I like the idea because that's the scene. Is that the same chase where she runs to like the right and he's on the left, and then he's suddenly there like it's a cartoon?
Yeah,
but like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
There's a few, like he comes out from behind like a very thin tree at one point, and that's super cartoony.
Like he's Bugs Bunny fucking hiding from Elmer Fudd.
It shows you that there are no rules. He runs this dream world. You know, you are at his mercy, and I like that.
It does it without anyone ever saying, I think he runs the dream world though, and it's his rules, which is nice. Honestly, refreshing.
Of the time, you would expect almost like, oh, it's an old book.
Yeah.
You're like, but he only died last year. Yes, he was prophesized.
No, but he now Bahul is inside of him or something stupid. Yeah.
I like that. I love when she like rips his face off and it's like Raider's face. Like that shit's great.
Because those are little and throwaway. He like cuts himself real quick just to again like flex. Yeah. And he's full of like that same pea soup and maggots that came out of his fingers and stuff. That's cool. Those little things are cool.
Do you think there was a misfire of the like the apparatus there? Because only one
finger
been one at
geysers.
Yeah. And like one's just like there. But he sells it with his face. He's not like, oh fuck. Like he's doing it.
So I thought I think he like makes a motion like he's gonna cut again. I think one finger was supposed to get cut each time, but he accidentally cut both. That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Maybe.
But I think we
either way an error.
We can both agree that something feels off in that scene.
Feels off.
Exactly. There's dude. Scientists independently came to the same.
What'd you do to your arm?
I burned it in English class.
An element that I think is like probably the coolest thing here is like when she wakes up from the dream and has his hat.
Where did you get that? I grabbed it off his head.
Yes.
And not only does she have his hat, which she pulled out of a dream world, she did it like while like on tape.
So stupid.
Like, she clearly didn't have that going in. She's
wearing
in a gown. There's no to hide it.
I was just gonna say, am I projecting this, or was she wearing a gown to be? Yeah. She has like the stuff taped to her.
Yeah. She's also cut. Like, where'd that come from?
What the fuck? Well, she could have like cut it.
I suppose it's possible, but it seems like that should be like, oh, we should believe you.
No, you're not pulling.
Obviously, there's some fucking shit here. And when it's actually someone we know we murdered's hat, what are you doing?
You knew about him all this time, and you've been acting like it was something I made up. Nancy, you're sick.
That's what. There's too much there. Like
it's a lot of meat on that potato.
That feels like stuff that they retconned later. Oh, all the parents killed them, and now he's after all of our descendants or whatever it is, which they drop at some point, right? And Freddy's just having fun. I don't know. Whatever. But this is revenge, right? Because he kills the mom too.
Well, I think it becomes anyone who's ever heard of him, just like he's it's an earworm. He's now in your brain. Oh, I'm coming for you.
He's getting desperate. That's what's happening. Just say it. He's getting desperate. He's down bad for some kids to murder.
Do you need to dream to live? The doctor's like, you'll die if you don't dream. I think you just need sleep. I don't think dreams matter at all.
I don't see why you couldn't just give me a pill to keep me from dreaming.
Everyone's got to dream, young lady. If you don't dream, you go.
Don't some people just naturally not dream? Like, isn't there disorders?
What the hell are dreams anyway?
Mysteries. Incredible body hocus pocus.
You should not trust a single word that guy says. Imagine if you asked your doctor about the pancreas and he was like, it's a pile of secrets inside of your abdomen.
I've heard that about
you would
the
believe. Yes, exactly. We don't know where they are, where they come from.
I wouldn't trust that doctor at all if he wasn't like that. Just the whole scene's so stupid.
He's like, who's to say? No, yeah, if anything, I would say we go too many places and we do too many things is probably a solid. Because in the dream world, you can go in anywhere and do anything. So I don't know why we're going to all these places in the real world to show us different things. Just.
Did you ever read about the Balinese way of dreaming?
No.
Yeah, we constantly go to boiler rooms and back alleys of your house.
It makes more sense to keep it contained because it's, you have a nice setup there and like the mom is like, locks up the whole house so she's trapped type of thing, right? You could just stay and do family drama.
Question for me too, so in addition to like being like, oh, the whole thing could be a dream because he pops out in reality or whatever, is she sleeps, has Johnny Depp guarding her.
Okay.
Now you can't mess up. A lot might depend on this.
I won't screw up.
And then the first bit of that, when she's like investigating, she's like, "You still there?" And he's like, "I'm right here."
Glenn? Are you still watching?
Yeah, so?
I'm just checking.
And I'm like, so like that, I'm like, oh, okay, wait, what? And then she is asleep.
We're talking about the scene that inspired maybe the only one of these movies that I actually like, which is the stupid Dream Warriors one.
Oh yeah, that one's goofy and great.
Where they are like, no, I have powers in the dream world because I can fight you back. And I was like, oh, I'd be so good in the dream world. I could imagine anything. It's awesome. And then Freddy is like Super Freddy.
More powerful than a loco madman. It's Super Freddy.
That is like stuck into my head where I'm like, okay, now we're talking. So whenever I watch any of these, but yes, so he's just supposedly not asleep next to her, but also in her dream. So
I don't know what that's supposed to be like.
So
like,
listen,
did she, while sleeping, be
you're
like,
about to say,
"You still there?" And he's like, "I'm right here." and that
she,
projection of him is in the dream?
Right, so like the same way your alarm clock becomes an emergency klaxon going before the kaiju attack or whatever in your dream, which I know you have every night.
I do hate kaiju.
This is like that maybe, but it also can't be because you can't just let the audience do all that math for you.
It's a mistake. A lot of this feels like a mistake.
It seems like he should be asleep with her and sharing the dream with her because you've been exposed to the Dark Lord of Dreams, Freddy Krueger. But then later she's like, "What the fuck? You fell asleep." So it can't be none of it makes sense.
Bastard.
What'd I do?
I just asked you to do one thing. Just stay awake and watch me. Just wake me up if it looked like I was having a bad dream.
Yes.
But like in any
Worst
dream,
movie.
things that obviously don't make sense, like him being there and being asleep, you'd be like, oh yeah, and like we do know that it is one like potential sleep world that they are all in, but potentially
That would be cool.
I think it's very creepy just the idea that everyone had the same dream. Like there's like that weird thing of like there's that guy that millions of people have dreamed of, and everyone's like drawing the same description of somebody like the Watcher or whatever the fucking name is. So like that shit is just creepy on its own.
He stands at the foot of my bed sharpening an axe every night. You don't have that?
Wow. the thing that's weird, you mentioned alarm, is like her watch. Does any watch exist where like it's gonna go off and it goes 10, 9, 8, 7? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Like,
I imagine you could set it like that.
It's like a Swatch watch that counts down audibly.
No, it's a Casio and it has that feature because you need that when you're diving.
I would buy that.
The countdown?
Oh yeah.
I would like an epic countdown. You get like the sound file from like NASA when they're like 10, 9, 8, 7. Yeah. And you're like, that's time for my pills.
10, 9, ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's like every movie has one part where I'm like, I don't even know what they did to make that part happen. And that's Tina's actual death with like her spinning and floating something. I'm like, okay, so he's like locked in, or it's 2-part composite shot of a room that's built upside down and she's dragging herself across the ceiling. But when she's like floating and spinning in the middle, I'm like, that is ambitious.
No,
What is that?
Okay, I agree. I don't want to speculate that the room could move. But I think sometimes when they do an upside down room, it's in a rig where they build it and glue it and then they put it upside down.
I don't think this movie did that based on their budget alone.
Got it. Well, because New Line was about,
I think effects only had $58,000 of, I think, the $1 million or whatever it cost to make this movie. Like, it was a shockingly small number where I'm like, this is mainly an effects-based movie. Where's that money go?
Okay, so it's got to just be wires. Maybe it's some crazy thing that happened where they were like, did you get it? I guess. Holy shit.
Because it looks so good
it's
even
awesome.
now.
Yes.
When, like, you're, like, watching it, like, upscaled, I'm like, what is happening?
No, totally agree. That whole scene is actually pretty great. Like, when she's on the ceiling, you know what you're looking at, but it's pretty great. Like, especially for the time.
So we know we're looking at, because we're watching a dream monster kill her in reality. But honestly, what's happening in the dream that her body is doing that? And then B, if you're an investigator coming through, you'd be like, there's handprints on the ceiling and drag marks. What was this kid on? PCP? Like, what the fuck?
That's what they would say. So, like,
it's just, there's no rational explanation for, like, any of this shit.
I understand that, but in the real world, these things aren't real, and there's nothing that could ever convince anyone that has a job that these things are real.
Yeah.
It would take so much and so many people to see it and all agree on it. Because even if, like, you were the coroner and you were like, oh, it's a fountain of blood, that happens sometimes. Like, how would you...
There is more blood than a body could ever produce.
Than a human has, exactly, yeah. And you'd be like, what?
Well, they were milking him for months, and then through it all.
So like that, like, you know, like your brain would sooner imagine yourself to be, I must be crazy.
Yeah.
It can't be real. And you know, mercifully, a lot of these movies, some don't, they take place over like 3 days. So there's not enough time for anyone to be like, you know what, we've exhausted every other option. I think that bitch died on the ceiling. Like you would you would never say that, yes.
But my thing is that like her dad is the lead investigator.
Yes.
And like, you'd think he would interview people, he would see stuff, be like, this isn't your run-of-the-mill thing. I don't know what this is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just feels so strange to see that kid. I'm like, that kid's shockingly dumb. Like, and like they arrest him with some weird rig thing. We're like, well, follow my daughter. It's not. What?
I didn't kill her, Nancy!
Daddy? You used me.
What the hell were you doing going to school today for anyway?
The whole thing, the child abuse angle is very important here too. Because they're both abusing their daughter in like different ways.
Oh, yeah.
But that's so weird. And like, I thought that would be thematic, but then they either drop it or it's like not, because like mommy locks the house up and tries to keep her there.
I locked it all up. I had to. Nancy, you are going to get some sleep tonight if it kills me.
And hides everything, but then she like reveals the dark family secrets.
Yeah.
But daddy is out there and has to rush in and like break in to like save, right? There's a whole... There's a vibe going on.
Did you want her to die? Like, I almost wanted her to die just so the dad, when he said, oh yeah, I'll be there in 10 minutes, sweetie.
Just come here and break the door down in exactly 20 minutes. Can you do that?
Yeah, sure.
Should have fucking been there, you bitch.
I didn't know who you were talking about yet.
Anyone?
I was about to say, pause right there. I don't know who you were talking about, but yes, I wanted her to die. No, yeah, because like, I mean, his wife dies, presumably, right?
Her death is
like,
so weird,
whatever.
too. But like, even everything leading up, you'd think he would just believe the daughter more.
I don't know
anything.
I don't know if he believes her now.
He doesn't.
How does that? Well, because he saw his wife drift into a like misty blue bed.
Well, he's like, she's an alcoholic. That happens. I don't know.
Spontaneous human combustion and also disappearance. This happens.
How did Freddy even get upstairs? Like,
you saw the footprints.
But they walked this way and they went here, and somehow in that time he had to walk directly past them on fire, go upstairs to get bear hugged out on his mom and drag her to hell. What?
You described the scene perfectly.
I
it's
just
like
don't
you were there.
How that could have happened.
They went like to the basement and then he came around.
They went through the same path, I believe.
That's just this camera
This isn't
tricks.
like the Full House. There's not multiple entrances.
Oh, they're twins. It's a Full House. It's the trick. It's the camera trick, you see.
There's a bit where the mom like goes to the closet, like pulls out of the fresh linens like vodka. She's like, and I was like, yep, alcoholic.
You know how we live.
Love it.
That's how it goes.
It's just as simple as that. Go to sleep!
Because you talk about it too. He watched a flaming man like strangling his wife and then jumped on them with a blanket.
Yeah, he smothered it.
And then he went whoosh, like a magic trick, and the flaming man was gone, and she was like a skeleton, I think.
And does she wave like goodbye?
Her hand goes up like, I don't know what she's doing, but yeah. And then he just hugs his daughter and leaves the room. As if like...
That's what might be the strangest thing.
That's okay, because earlier you were like, is it all a dream? And I was like, don't be ridiculous. But that was a moment where I thought, wait, is this a dream too? Because it's weird.
Freddy calls her too. So...
Glenn?
Like there's so many moments where Freddy's doing Freddy things. Well, at one point, and the phone turns to a tongue and like licks her fucking head.
Hello?
I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy.
The iconic and also terrible, tongue coming out of the phone shot. Yes.
But like that shit where I'm like, there's too many things happening in reality that I'm like, no, I think it's all a dream. And that ending, honestly, makes me like go, yep, you're right. it's been a dream since the beginning.
Is there a point early in the movie where we can declare this is when she actually fell asleep? I think there might be. We'll find it.
Maybe.
That would be great. That's
but it
groundbreaking analysis.
It could have started where our actual main character is dreaming about her friend, seeing her die, and then going through the whole bit. Like, the whole thing could be a dream.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's a lot better because it covers up all of their continuity problems and mistakes.
Matter of fact, I had a bad dream last night myself.
I had a hard-on this morning when I woke up, Tina. Had your name written all over it.
Well, if they're all literal dreams for their entirety run, they could all be taking place in the same time.
It's all one crazy night. Freddy Krueger has 24 hours to deliver dreams to all the girls and all the boys all over the world.
Yeah. Thank God he has a Rudolph. He's wearing Christmas colors.
He's...
I got the holiday spirit. Yes, Virginia, there is a Sandy Claus.
The most iconic scene in the movie is probably the bathtub, like coming up with the claw.
Good.
Like that's something that, like, you know, everyone knows. Everyone could see that and go, I know exactly what that is.
Every movie has. Is this the one?
I think so.
I made a note like, is this the, like the word iconic is in my notes like 10 times.
Yeah.
But yeah, because every movie does that as a joke. You have like Wanda Sykes popping up or some shit, right?
Yeah, it's
parodies.
from this.
Everyone's always making fun of the bat. Yeah, perfect.
That even leads to what I think is a better part. Like when he
she
then
falls
pulls her in.
Oh, it's great.
And it's this deep thing. You can see this like you're trapped under ice that you fell through. You can just see a little bit of freedom, and like she like pulls herself out, and like it's like, oh no, I'm fine. Like when you're in a chair and you think you're falling, like, oh no, that's fine.
and like they nail a lot of that stuff, a lot of the dream weirdnesses and the whole. Does she even does she knock on the wall after Freddy like stretches it out?
Yes. Well, she hangs her crucifix back up and then does touch it.
But I think she does like a little is this solid?
So like those moments make you
those...
think you could just be on the cusp of sleep and you're like he's drifting into your almost safe zone.
But you have those weird memories for a little bit when you wake up and you do the thing. The bathtub's better though because like the blue little light like coming down like you're saying, and that is a recurring nightmare that I did have where I was trapped under the water and couldn't breathe or get up out of the water. But that was because of the scene in Legend, I think.
I fell through ice once.
Oh.
But it was.
Did you make it out?
I did. It was shallow enough that I only went up to like my nipples.
Oh, shit.
And my feet touched the floor. But I was like, oh shit, that could have been really bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you crawled back up and started fucking around again.
I was like miles from home in the woods,
my God.
and it was a very cold walk home. I was with a friend who also fell through the ice.
Okay, good.
So like it was a joint hypothermia experience.
That's what prepares us for life.
Yeah.
I'm okay. But I heard you screaming. You were calling me.
I just like getting out of the tub, Mom.
The end where like she gets pulled through the fucking thing.
That's
I
funny
love that
in
like
retrospect, yeah.
But like okay, we gotta talk about the funny stuff.
Okay.
So like the whole ending bit, she like gets out like a book like Booby Traps for Dummies or whatever.
Booby traps and improvised anti-personnel devices? Well, what are you reading that for?
I'm into survival.
Oh my
She
God.
rigs the house, all these things, and every one of them hitting Freddy. Every single step is like funny as fuck.
That's what I thought you were gonna get to earlier. Maybe you would have. When you were like, too much happens.
Probably got sidetracked.
Well, too much happens in the real world, and like, because that's the turning point for me too. It's right before that when she wakes up and she goes, "I guess I was crazy all along." Bang! Freddy pops up. Ah, I'm gonna get you.
I'm crazy after all.
And it's a whole where I'm like, because that's a comedy beat. That's a comedy timing.
So like Home Alone, this whole ending here,
all the booby traps.
The door opens, a sledgehammer swings down, hits him in the chest, and like his reaction, fucking brilliant.
He's a wet bandit. Honorary.
So good.
It's perfect.
Then like goes downstairs, like I think he like trips down the stairs or something. She's like, oh my God.
Oh, after the hammer, I think he then falls backwards, right?
Well, I think there's like a tripwire or something.
Oh yeah.
And then something else triggers an explosion of a light bulb.
I think the tripwire is meant to have exploded the black. There's like shotgun.
I think there's more than one because he trips down the stairs and I don't know what caused that.
I thought he fell over the banister, but
maybe
she was putting like black powder from
from shotgun shells
around the light bulb. Like I know how.
I've seen that trick before too, so like that's a thing.
And her dad's a cop, so he must know about this.
Well, I think the library book is what told her all this.
No. Absolutely not. It's her connections. I love that she has shotgun shells and she's
the
like,
dad does.
I'm going to make up a trap with it instead of trying to get the shotgun part.
Well, that whole business, the practical falling effects, all that thing, and that's like Robert just bringing Robert to the table. I love all that.
Sure.
I think probably because of those scenes, they wanted a stuntman to be Freddy Krueger, and then very quickly they're like, stuntman can't do this. Robert can do this.
We need a thespian here.
Robert fucking came in like a boss. He pulled the dipstick out of his car, greased his hair back with like grease. He made the bottom of his eyes dark, and then didn't blink for his whole audition or some shit. He's like, I am Freddy, bitch.
And it's something happens. I'm looking in the mirror and I don't see Robert anymore. It's Freddy looking back.
And they were like, we're not going to do any of that. But yes, exactly.
Yeah. No, I like when, and again, it's they say, I think for actors, it's a curse. Never bring props, never do whatever. But I'm a sucker for it every time.
No, I go either way on it. Obviously, you can trick somebody into giving you a role, and sometimes.
But isn't that what acting is?
Tricking someone into giving you a role? Yeah, pretty much, repeatedly. I mean, on the day of, you may not have the same juice.
Where's your pass? Screw your pass.
But yes, like all these booby traps, the fights, the explosion, the hilarious things that are happening here, all like end where like she burns him and that's how he died the first time, so she brings it full circle and that's the way you actually can kill Freddy. But that doesn't kill Freddy. Freddy ultimately dies by like getting put out of fire and taking your mom down the hell too, and it's all a dream though, because it's all fine, and my hair was gray from having bad dreams, but now I'm back to normal, and my friends are alive, and we're in a car, and that car is Freddy. And that shit, like, you think watching, like, The Simpsons when they joke about this, and Groundskeeper Willie is Freddy, and so I'm a bagpipe monster, and whatever, like, it's like, oh, that's so far-fetched. And you're like, that's not. It's not far-fetched at all.
What do you mean? It's like true to the origin.
The making a parody of something so like outlandish and crazy. It's like when someone says like, you know, it's like, oh, he says the craziest shit, and then you say something, you're like, I can't even fucking say something crazy. What I sounds fucking plausible. And I think that's what it is to make a parody of this. It's like, they could do that, and then later movies, we did do that.
No, I think it's I you know, when I say fun, that's like what I mean is that like it's not the same sort of thing. It's not the same sort of horror movie where you're like, oh, like if you had nightmares from this, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think at the right age it could do that, and I think that's what made it so hard to sell this movie originally. Is what makes it so good, because it's not like other things.
It's not like other movies. This movie's like, pick me. I'm different. I'm built differently.
When he gets hit in the chest, he's like, oh!
I don't like this at all.
I've been hit.
Like in the later movies, they make such a big deal out of like bringing Freddy into the real world.
We can't get him in the dream. But if this can come out, he can come out. And if he can come out, he can bleed.
And die.
Right.
Like I watched a movie that's just this movie again. Like, oh, I have a scrap of his like sweater somehow.
Yeah.
I think I've got a way to get him.
So what's the plan, Doc?
They're like, wait, can we bring him into the real world? Yeah, where he's vulnerable. And then he's in the real world and he's like extremely dangerous and killing people still. And you're like, what's happening?
You have to have Jason to fight him.
Now we're talking.
Oh. Tilt.
Mike Myers.
Get Ash in there too?
Somebody. Ugh, I hate all these. This is terrible. Get out of here.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's alright.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
They made a horrible sound. It's like, scream.
Nancy.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinion